Alright, so the first thing I'd like to say is welcome back, Dan. I really enjoy now you have your sort of traditional Burqa Ban videos back rather than Dan 3.0, though some elements were pretty cool. The first thing I want to point out is kind of a flaw of what you were saying. It doesn't really negate the point that you were making, but the burqa is actually what 0 women in France have ever worn. The burqa actually covers the face, and not just leaving that slit, which sort of most people think of with the burqa. It actually covers that with a cloth as well. So it's a lot more serious. It covers the entirety of the face. What most sort of Muslim women that choose to or are forced to wear sort of head covering is actually the niqab, which is Niqab, I believe, which sort of leaves a slit, which most people will be familiar with. Alright, so first of all, I'd like to say that I am actually atheist and have always been atheist. Never truly had a religion and have never really seen it as an important part of my life. So I'm not really coming at this from a point of view as, oh, when Muslims are ruining my country. I personally have been brought up in a very high, densely populated Muslim area. About my school's about 30% Muslim, probably, and probably about 50% white, sort of Church of England Catholic. And the rest sort of varying sort of regions of Asia, so or the Middle East, so Iraq, Iran, but mainly Pakistan and India. So I'm fairly comfortable with other races and other religions, and don't really have any negative feelings towards them. So as you mentioned in your video, I obviously cannot condone people who force women into wearing the niqab and burqa. And this obviously comes from a point of view that women are below men, something that, again, I do not agree with. And that is a bit worrying, the sense that is demonstrated in a lot of religions, but specifically parts of the Muslim faith, that women are a sort of a lower being and need to be sort of controlled by men, which is a bit worrying, but I think also modern Muslims are coming away from that point of view, at least. The thing that truly worries me, though, with this action, especially in France, is that basically it's stopping someone carrying out their belief system, whether that be, that be anything. I think that totally goes about freedom of speech, it goes against freedom of action, all that sort of thing, and it's a very, very worrying move, because truly it comes from a place that they are looking upon them as being abnormal and not being of the same point of view of us. So obviously you must be wrong. So where does it come that the French leaders may decide that they're to have at a position that they are correct? They have to believe, not necessarily in their faith, but they can't believe in a faith that goes against certain ideas of theirs, and it's definitely a worrying thing that's happening in France. One thing that I can sort of agree on is certain places where a burqa or a niqab definitely does not work. So, such as going through airports, security, sort of highly important security areas. Also, one thing I have noticed, especially around here, is people driving with niqabs on, which is pretty worrying. You blocked out quite a lot of your view there. Your peripheral vision is a bit knocked out. So I think there definitely needs to be certain things looked at, and I think it definitely doesn't fit entirely into our Western civilization, and that's for us to look into whether we need to change and in order to accept them, or whether they need to change to accept us, and sort of a mix and match of that in order for us to connect and work together. So in conclusion, I know I've rambled a bit here. Basically, I think it's very worrying what's happening in France, and I think we need to look at sort of what is happening there and whether that is socially acceptable and whether we should accept things like that. And I believe in total freedom of action and freedom of speech and freedom of belief, and basically just freedom in whatever you do. And I think it's definitely worrying. But another thing is we need to also look again at the place in the niqab in our sort of society, and where we need to change parts on our side and also on the sort of Muslim faith side, and where we need to adapt for each other in order to accept each other together and work together sort of as one society. That's about it. Thanks, Dan, for your video. I think it's definitely fantastic, all the videos you're doing at the moment. I loved your nuclear power discussion as well. I hope to add to your discussions in the future. See you.